recommended that the city remove the name of Benjamin Franklin, who led the Pennsylvania Society promoting the abolition of slavery, from all city property. Mobs have even defaced or torn down monuments of Americans who took on the Confederacy and defeated slavery. Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, and even the all-black Shaw's 54th Regiment of Union troops memorialized in Boston. Their aim is not just to destroy memorials. They believe that America as we know it can only be redeemed if it is first destroyed and then rebuilt according to their revolutionary agenda. Why do they believe that America is rotten to the core? Because slavery and other forms of inequality were present at the founding. Therefore, they argue, everything built on that foundation is flawed and must be torn down. But a closer look at the founding reveals how fundamentally wrong this thinking is. The fact is, America was not founded at Jamestown or Plymouth Rock or in 1619. The colonial period was influential, of course, but America was born on July 4th, 1776, not a day or 157 years earlier. In the Declaration of Independence, the founders declared, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed." Were there problems on that day in 1776? Of course. Women couldn't vote. Slavery remained. Black Americans in practice did not have the rights promised to them in the Declaration. The War for Independence didn't change that, and far worse, although many slaves and freed men fought bravely for independence, the evil of legalized slavery would persist for close to a century, and ending de facto racism in the law took well into the 20th century. How then could America's founders square that ugly reality with their claim that everyone is created equal, made in the image of God? Because these words in the Declaration were not a description of the current reality. They were an aspiration, a blueprint for the nation that they had just broken ground on. America was to be built on three core principles: self-government, inalienable rights given by God, equality before the law. Of course, none of these goals were realized immediately. The Bill of Rights wasn't even adopted for another 15 years. And eradicating slavery took longer, painfully longer. But at every step we took toward true equality before the law, great leaders held up the Declaration before the American people and proclaimed, "Live up to these promises, fulfill these goals, live up to our birthright, and become the kind of nation our principles require us to be." Frederick Douglass, in his famous speech on July 4th, 1852, challenged Americans to cast off the bonds of slavery that betrayed the very principles of the nation's founding.
Free James Earl Nealy.
For bitterness, it was Frederick Douglass. He was a slave in Maryland, but after he escaped, he did not travel the land calling for an end to America. Instead, he called on his flawed country to take its promises seriously and rise to its potential.
Free James Nealy, he's innocent. Falsely accused, mistaken identity.
To today. Every nation has flaws, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a greater story of human freedom than the United States of America.
Free James Earl Nealy.
We show the world how equality, human rights,
he's
and self-government can be realities.
Mistaken identity.
We cannot be the generation that squanders the
same clothes,
promise.
same shirt,
building a more
same
perfect
jeans,
union does not
same
mean we
color
rewrite
shoes,
our founding.
same skin color.
Live up to it. That's the story of America, and that's what it means to say,
Free James Earl Nealy.